This is Hoosier Ag Today and the morning edition on Tuesday morning, the 29th of September, 2015. Hello, I'm Andy Eubank. We have the latest Indiana farm news. It's all about the harvest right now. It's moving full speed ahead. Lots of activity across the state. We'll get a couple of reports for you. I was on a combine in Tippecanoe County on Monday with Levi Huffman, and we'll tell you what kind of yields were coming across the monitor. Also, Gary Truitt has an update from DuPont Pioneer on harvest this year. Ryan Martin, hat meteorologist, checks in with the Indiana Farm Forecast and a look back at yesterday's market sell-off. The morning edition of Hoosier Ag Today is coming up next.
Indiana Farm Bureau needs you. It's critical for your farm and family that your voice be heard daily. Farm Bureau membership tells legislators that Indiana agriculture stands together on property tax issues, farmland annexation, and water rules. Protect your livelihood and children's future by going online to infb.org/join or call 1-800-FARM-BUREAU. infb.org/join or call 1-800-FARM-BUREAU. Your membership brings value and benefits, but more importantly, it adds your voice to that of your neighbors and friends. Don't stand on the sidelines. Be heard on local, state, and national issues. We'll show you how. Indiana Farm Bureau needs you. Go to infb.org/join or call 1-800-FARM-BUREAU.
This is Hoosier Ag Today. I'm Andy Eubank, reporting on Indiana agriculture. Listen each week on this station for the DuPont Pioneer Agronomy Report with timely updated harvest reports now through the end of the season. And also check out our agronomy page at HoosierAgToday.com and the mobile app for smartphones and tablets. We do have an agronomy update today and a harvest report from Tippecanoe County, just east of Lafayette, where Levi Huffman has yields that fit the description of a headline that could easily be the headline for the entire harvest this year. Corn and soybean yields all over the map. As Hat rode along with Huffman Monday afternoon, he explained how the weather starting in July saved his soybean crop.
On this being field here, probably before the middle of July, it was pale and the stalks have not filled out to fill in the rows where you couldn't see the dirt. And we started getting sunshine in the middle of July, and they started greening up. They started getting a lot of foliage on them, and just kind of turned around. And I think from that point on is when we really gained our yields. We've done from 57 bushel clear down to 40 bushel on some ground that was susceptible to a lot of wet ground. And this field here is probably more like, it's not 100% calibrated yet, right, but I would say between 60 and 65 so far.
And as you said that, we happen to go through an area of the field that obviously had, it's a little bit lower lying area, and it obviously held some water this year.
Right, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing all the way up to 60, 65, and even some 70s, and then all the way down to 8 where there wasn't, where we had water damage, where basically a lot of it is you're hoping that the better beans where they didn't have water damage has enough yield that counteracts the low 8 bushel acre in the wet spots you have.
The corn yields have ranged from over 200 bushels to the acre down to the 100 bushel per acre vicinity for whole field averages. Huffman has harvested just 200 acres of corn, but believes that variability will continue throughout harvest. His best corn each year is where he grew tomatoes the previous year. Hear more about that in the full Hat Ride Along with Levi Huffman at our website.
This is Gary Truitt with an update from DuPont Pioneer looking at the harvest progress in southern Indiana. With almost 3 weeks of sunny days and no rain, the harvest pace has been fast and furious, according to Dan Emmerich, field agronomist with DuPont Pioneer.
Pretty much everybody in southwest Indiana is harvesting. Talked with a few guys that are probably over halfway done on corn.
Emmerich says even the soybeans are drying down at a very rapid rate.
Talked with a few guys yesterday that were cutting beans that were 9 or 10% on moisture, so they were really getting after those.
Stalk strength in corn has been an issue throughout the state this harvest, but in southwest Indiana, it's not due as much to a lack of nitrogen, but to a lack of fungicide application.
Especially as we get closer to the Ohio River, southern rust came in late and really took a toll. Hybrids that normally would have good stay green and good late season stalk strength were just killed, and so In those cases where there was no fungicide applied and nitrogen loss has been bad, yes, stalk quality is really our number one concern.
According to the latest USDA crop update, 70% of Indiana corn is now mature and 18% has been harvested. Over 80% of Hoosier soybeans are rated as mature, with 23% of the state soybean crop having been harvested. More details and crop updates available on the agronomy page at our website and mobile app. I'm Gary Truitt. Along with Andy Eubank, this is Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at Hoosier Ag Today's Indiana Farm Forecast from the Wells Fargo Forecast Center. A little bit of an interesting day here today as we have a cool front that's going to be working through. It comes through the northern part of the state here already this morning. Has a lot of clouds with it. I guess I won't completely rule out a shower or sprinkle in one or two spots, but I'll also say there probably won't be a lot of moisture with this initially. However, as the front continues to sag south and eastward across the rest of the state, look what's going on straight to the south. I'm looking at a surface map right now that shows plentiful moisture coming up across parts of Alabama. We saw moisture yesterday start to develop near low pressure in East Texas, near Louisiana, and there were scattered showers coming all the way up the Mississippi River Valley into the Memphis area and Paducah areas. In Kentucky and Tennessee. So there was moisture working north. I think that as you get this cool front down later today, this afternoon, this evening, and it's able to tap into a little bit of that moisture that's already just itching to stream northward, I think it's going to trigger a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms. As a matter of fact, the European model says we could see a big cluster of thunderstorms in southwestern Indiana. I like action mostly over the lower two rows of counties in Indiana, but let's just say we're going to leave the door open to better moisture all the way up to just south of the I-70 corridor. I think northern Indiana is going to be hit and miss because everything's happening early on, and we'll have to just see how things evolve this afternoon. In the southern Indiana areas, we could see anywhere from a quarter to maybe 1 inch if the European model is right. I kind of think the European's overdoing things a bit, but I'm having a hard time arguing against it right now, considering the plumes of moisture that we had firing off yesterday in Alabama. There was some heavy rain down there. If that wants to drift north, look out. We could see some in southern Indiana. Either way, most of this is done as we go into tomorrow, and we should be dry then through the rest of the weekend, honestly right on through the weekend. Now, as we go into Saturday, Sunday, some models are showing some action backing in from the east. I think this might be part of a weak system that's going to act an awful lot like a tropical or extratropical system moving up the mid-Atlantic coast. I think the solutions that throw this moisture in from the east all the way into Indiana are probably overdone. So I'm going to keep my forecast dry. I will tell you, though, I'll be honest up front, it's something I'm watching. It is an interesting scenario here, and we'll just see if any other models come along for the ride. If that does not work out, if we don't see the action there Sunday, which I don't think we will, to me, it looks like our next round of precipitation develops Tuesday into Wednesday of next week, and I still think we could be anywhere from a quarter to 3/4 of an inch of rain there. Looks like good coverage, probably 80 to 90% of the state now. We told you yesterday we were itching to up that total. Sure enough, we are. 80 to 90% of the state at midweek next week. Problem is, that still is about 12 hours later than what we were looking at yesterday. So the trend here is to back the system up, making it just a little slower. I think part of the reason the models are doing that is because of this back-building system for this weekend. If that one fails to materialize, like I believe will happen, we'll probably see that system come a little faster then again next week. So a lot of ifs, a lot of things up in the air here this morning for the state, but the long and short of it is scattered action today, heavier in the south, not so much in the north, and then we don't see anything till at least the weekend, and in my opinion, more toward midweek next week. Have a great rest of your day. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin on Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.
Monitor your grain anytime, any place with GrainTrack from Co-Alliance. GrainTrack uses the latest technology for remote temperature readings every 30 minutes. Let GrainTrack remove the guesswork from grain storage so you don't need to drive, climb, or keep handwritten notes to track information. Save money on electricity and shrink by not over-drying. A typical installed system is only a few cents per bushel. For more information, check out GrainTrack at coalliance.com. GrainTrack bin monitoring only from Co-Alliance.
This is Hoosier Ag Today and the Monday Farm Market Review. I'm Andy Eubank. Lower Markets Monday, and the review is brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply the best value in the seed industry. 800-708-2676, seedconsultants.com. The markets were down all day long to open up the new week. Mid-session, I checked in for analysis with Cody Bills at Grain Hedge. It looks like maybe some negative economic news coming out of China. Does that have an impact here on the grain markets today?
Oh yeah, I mean, China has been a story here for the last month, and anytime you get something negative out of China, you get a situation where equities start to sell off, and people get concerned about soybeans, which is leading the grains lower here, down 11 cents at this point. Corn's down, wheat's down. Now, soybeans did have a nice week last week, which was good to see. Really strong export sales. You had that situation where basically China inked a deal in Iowa to purchase 13.18 million metric tons of U.S. soybeans to be delivered in 16-17. It's valued at $5.3 billion. So that was very positive. You got a little bit of soybean buying there, rallying back from the lows. So that was good to see. There was also some good reportable sales last week. This morning we had another nice little reportable sale. About 1 million metric tons of soybeans sold to China for 16-17. And there was also another reportable sale of 249,000 metric tons of soybeans to unknown destinations for this marketing year. So that was very strong to see for soybeans. But even with those sort of strong export sales, nuggets of news out there, we did see commitment of traders increase their net short position. The non-commercial traders increased net short positions in both soybeans and corn. They lessened their short positions in wheat last week. Basically, what's going on in wheat is there is some dryness in the eastern part of Europe. Ukraine winter wheat region is about 40% below normal in terms of the rainfall that they've received. So that's not very good during this time period where they should be seeding their next year's crop. So that's putting a little bit of stress there on wheat. But this morning, again, you just have a situation where we're trading down. Outside markets are putting some pressure, and it's spilling over into corn, soybeans, and wheat. This morning, we did have export inspections positive for wheat, within analyst expectations for corn. So no big surprise there with 809,000 metric tons inspected for export. But soybeans disappointed. We do have weather that's looking relatively positive. Looks like it's going to be drier throughout the Midwest this week. The Plains is looking to receive some precipitation there in the second half of the week. When you look out 6 to 10 days, it looks like it's going to be wetter in the northwestern and western part of the grain belt, basically going from North Dakota down to Nebraska and including Iowa and Minnesota in the 6 to 10 day forecast. Temperatures should remain mostly on par with the average for this time of the year. So in general, no big concerns there for harvest.
And that's Cody Bills at Grain Hedge. Trade anytime the markets are open. $7 commissions per side. Grainhedge.com. Now the settlements in Chicago. Corn for December down 2 1/4 at 386 3/4. Also March corn 398, 2 1/4 lower. The soybean market went 12.5 cents down on Novi and January. November beans 876 3/4 and January 880 3/4. Again, both down 12.5. Chicago wheat for December down 2 1/4 to 505 1/2. And that is our Monday review, and that will wrap it up. The morning edition of Hoosier Ag Today for this Tuesday. Hope you have a good Tuesday. Keep an eye on the grain markets later today. We'll have them for you always at HoosierAgToday.com. Click on markets or tap the market section at our mobile app for Apple and Android. A midday report as well coming up later on today. We'll have an update on the markets and grain market analysis too. And Gary Truitt will check in with that report. This is Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.